Have you ever noticed your dog suddenly freeze and stare? Even when nothing seems to be happening, the moment feels completely normal at first. It looks like they're reacting to something random, and if you've seen this before, you probably ignored it, without realizing it might actually matter. But then your dog becomes completely still, watching something that hasn't happened yet. What's happening there is not what it looks like. Your dog is not just reacting. They are responding to something earlier than you realize. And in this video, I'll show you what's really happening, and why most owners never realize what their dog is actually picking up. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. Number 1. It starts before you notice. The strange part is not that your dog reacts, but when that reaction actually begins. It often starts before there is anything clear for you to notice. It feels like nothing has happened yet, but something has already started. Your brain just doesn't recognize it as important, which means your dog is not waiting for the moment you see. They're responding earlier than that, and by the time your brain decides something matters, your dog is already ahead of it. That early signal can come from faint vibrations, distant sound patterns, or subtle environmental shifts your brain filters out automatically. Your dog is not focused on how strong the signal is, but how early it begins. In 2013, researchers found that dogs can detect frequencies and vibrations far beyond human range. But even that doesn't fully explain it, because detecting something early is only the first layer of what your dog is doing. Number 2. The pattern forms first. What makes this harder to understand is that your dog is not reacting to a single event. It only looks that way from your perspective. By the time you notice something, your dog is already past that moment. They're not reacting to the event itself, but to the pattern forming before it. Small changes begin to connect in ways your brain doesn't track. These patterns build quietly, long before they become obvious. They can come from footsteps, rhythm changes, or repeating sounds. But your dog doesn't need the full pattern to react. They're already moving on partial information. In 2017, researchers showed that dogs use predictive processing. They begin responding before the outcome fully appears, which means their reaction is already happening while your brain is still trying to understand what's there. And sometimes, the pattern never becomes clear to you at all. Your dog reacts anyway, and it feels like they're responding to nothing. Number 3. It's already happening in you. There are moments when your dog reacts, and nothing around you explains it. No sound, no movement, no visible change. It feels random at first. That's why most people dismiss it. But your dog is not only reading the environment, they're reading you. Small changes in your posture, breathing, and muscle tension begin before you act. Even your attention shifts before your body follows. Your dog is already picking up on those signals, which means there are moments when your dog reacts before you even know what you're about to do. In 2018, research showed that dogs detect human emotional microsignals before visible action happens. This suggests your dog may be responding to internal changes you're not aware of yet. Think about how you shift slightly before standing, or how your breathing changes before you speak. You don't notice it, but your dog does. So what feels like a random reaction is often your dog responding to something that has already started in you. And once you begin to notice that, it stops feeling random. It starts to feel uncomfortably accurate. Number 4. Designed to react early. To understand this, you have to go back long before your home, back to where your dog comes from. Dogs evolved from ancestral wolves that survived by detecting change as early as possible. In the wild, waiting too long didn't just mean missing something. It meant losing food or facing danger without time to react. That pressure shaped how their brains work. So your dog doesn't wait for certainty. They act on early signals. Their system is not designed to confirm what's obvious. It's designed to notice what begins first. which means your dog is often responding to a version of reality you haven't reached yet. That's why it feels unsettling, because your dog is already aware of changes before you even realize something is happening. In 2020, researchers showed that dogs combine sound, movement, and context to make rapid decisions. But they're not reacting faster than you. They're starting earlier. Number 5. The moment most people miss. When your dog suddenly stops and focuses on something you cannot see, this is the moment most people ignore, and that's exactly why they miss it. It may feel insignificant because nothing obvious has happened yet, but this is often the exact point where your dog is detecting something before it becomes visible to you. That signal could be forming through walls, building outside your field of vision, or even developing within your own behavior before you act on it. Your dog is not reacting emotionally in that moment, but instead processing information earlier and more efficiently than you are able to. If you think back, you have probably seen this happen many times, where your dog pauses, stares, or shifts its posture, and only seconds later something actually changes in the environment. In those moments it can feel like coincidence, but when it repeats often enough, it becomes harder to ignore. As you begin to pay attention to these small reactions, your perspective starts to shift in a way that is difficult to reverse. You begin to notice that your dog is not simply reacting to the same world you are experiencing, but is instead experiencing it slightly ahead of you. The more you notice this, the more consistent it becomes, and it starts to feel less like coincidence and more like a system you were never aware of. You begin to recognize that these small reactions are not isolated moments, but part of a continuous process happening around you all the time. And that is where the shift happens, because once you start seeing it, it becomes difficult to go back to ignoring it. What used to feel random now feels intentional, and what once seemed insignificant starts to carry meaning. That realization changes the meaning of the behavior completely, because now the reaction is no longer the important part. The important part is what happened before the reaction, and what your dog was able to detect that you were not. Once you understand that, the question changes completely, because you stop asking why your dog reacted and start asking what they noticed first. And that shift in perspective is what finally makes the behavior make sense. The next time your dog reacts before anything happens, it is worth pausing instead of dismissing it as random or unimportant. What you are seeing is not just a reaction, but a glimpse into how your dog experiences the world in real time. They are not simply responding faster than you, but starting earlier by detecting signals before they fully exist in your awareness. And once you begin to recognize that, you realize your dog has been understanding the environment in ways you were never meant to notice. If you want to understand what your dog is actually thinking and start recognizing the signals most people miss, subscribe and explore more videos on dog behavior, canine psychology, and dog communication.